All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is Wednesday, October the 5th, 2016. And the title of tonight's webinar is Viper A to Z, Favorite 2 Trade Types. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk, therefore there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. And by the way, I've had several people asking me about doing a little bit more teaching on swings, because it is extremely important that we know when to get into a trade, but as well as that, we need to know when to get out of a trade. Okay, and so for about the first 15-20 minutes, I'm going to teach some basically about the swings. So we'll call this webinar tonight Viper A to Z, Favorite 2 Trade Types and Swings. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and show you a chart that I mocked up here. Now this is not a chart with actual prices on it. I've got another one behind it that does. But what I wanted to show you, and I tried to draw this as realistically as possible with actually, taking in consideration that this is like a true trend, for instance. And you can see that I've got the lines, say, for instance, right on that swing. I've got the line right underneath that swing, at least close enough. And I've got this line right here under this swing. Okay, so this is kind of showing you how lightning really looks in real time on your charts. Okay, now if you think about, first of all, let's look at lightning 4. That's going to be our long-term trend. Remember when I got everybody looking at oil and also YM today and even NQ, that we were not really heading down? Because what did we do? Well, lightning 4 stayed going up, didn't it? Okay, and in real time we were able to catch that, get those trades flipped back around and go the right direction, and it works beautifully like that. Now lightning 4 though is literally a 12 range chart, so you're pretty much looking at somewhere around 40 ticks, possibly 50, sometimes even 60 ticks for a swing. Okay, so what I drew on this right here, let's just pretend we started right here at this low. That's lightning 4, because it never retraced enough to actually change lightning 4 to go down. This would just be a thrust. Okay, on lightning 3, you had a thrust, a retrace, thrust, a retrace, and a thrust. Okay, and on lightning 1, of course, you had a little thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, and so on like that, right? Okay. And I want to show everybody how you can for sure tell when to get out of these trades and when you can get some, decent retracements to get back in. Okay, so what I'm going to do first off, I'm going to draw this line right here. Okay, now in this example, let's just pretend we haven't gotten this extra price on any of these yet. Let's just pretend this line is as high as it's gone. Okay, now on this chart here, and the sad part is we don't have prices over here because I took everything down, but I'm going to move my line and you tell me on this trade, let's say that you hit this line right here and it's retracing. I mean, you can see that it's retracing right here. Where is my stop on lightning 1? And I'm going to draw a line and you tell me where my stop needs to be. I'm going to just draw it. Okay, do I move it down? Or is that a decent stop? Lower, okay. So I'm going to move it a little bit lower. Is that it right there? No? Okay. So let's look to the left to trade the right. We've got a low, a high, a higher low, a higher low just by a tick or so, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low. But where's my identified swing on this exact chart right this very second? that would tell me whether or not I wanted to take that trade off the table. Okay, I'm going to move it and be sure and let me know the moment I get to it. Anybody? Yet? Right there, right? Okay, now let me ask you a question. Since we saw this, and I drew these, like I said, as close to accurate as I possibly could, because what's happening with a lot of people, they'll get into a trade, they won't go ahead and go for the gusto of it, and they don't realize where lightning identified swings are. Okay, and the lightning identified swing is very important. Now we're looking at lightning 1 right now. Okay, so lightning 1, if you look at it, just look at your higher lows and higher highs until it takes it out. Okay, so you have a high, a low, a higher high, basically a little higher low, than that, and then a higher high. So isn't that right there my identified swing? So if you look at this and you were trading this in real time, you didn't get taken out of the trade. Everybody see that, right? Because it's important to be able to get this trade instead. Okay? And that's what we're looking at. All right, now if you were trading lightning 3, then obviously you'd have to look at your swings. Obviously a swing here, and you'd have that same swing down here again. See, so for instance, if you were trading lightning 3 and you saw this happen, high, low, higher high, that's your identified swing. Okay? Now, if you were trading lightning 3, now this is your lightning swing, right? Takes out the swing over here. That's your lightning swing. And it makes it real easy to stay in trades. Now, I'm not saying to take lightning 3 because you're going to put up with 30 tick pullbacks with lightning 3. Okay? You really don't want to do that because we're trying to make, decent money on our micro trends. Now, why in the room this morning did I say several times if it breaks micro, it's going to go down and check medium? Okay? And that's what they do. And I'm going to show you some real examples of that in just a little bit. But before I go any further, does anybody in this room at all not see this to where they can actually look at a chart and trade it? Because I won't mention your name out loud or anything, and I'll go over it until the cows come home. That's an Oklahoma term, I guess. Because I want you to see it and be able to trade it. Because trading is not as difficult as people try to make it out to be. Okay? It's like walking up a set of steps. If you're walking up the steps, you're in an uptrend. If you're walking down, you're in a downtrend. Let's see, I thought the top blue line is the identified swing. PW, okay. Sorry about that. I said I wasn't going to mention any names. That wasn't saying you didn't know the swings. I apologize for that, though. Okay, no, what I'm talking about here, this is the high. Let's just pretend that this is exactly where price has hit, and that's all we have right now is the price is right here. Okay? The identified swing is here. See it? The identified swing is here, and the identified swing is here, and this one you don't have an identified swing on because we haven't seen it do a zigzag. Okay? So you can see, and I drew these, like I said, as close as I possibly could. See how that swing is the same, and the same. Now, in this particular instance, lightning 3 would have been your stop to begin with, right? But not on this trade here. Remember when I said we're looking at this trade here, just going to here, where would our stop be on this chart? And you have to look the same way. You have a high, a low, a higher high. That is your identified swing. Now, it corresponds to this one, obviously, because it's lightning 3, and basically, it made that same type of swing. Okay, but notice how it held it. That's why it started going up. Okay, so if you learn to see those identified swings, it makes a world of difference in your trading. Now, I've got a question coming in, and again, we'll go over this until, believe me, until everybody gets it. I have trouble in real time, as many times lightning 1 will make higher high and then a lower low. I make mistakes too often I get in too early and I get out too soon. Very confusing in real time with the real market. Okay, well, on that question coming in right there, what I would recommend would be to really look to the left to trade the right, understanding also the difference in trending and not trending. Okay, and my two favorite trades that we're going to talk about tonight are going to be predictors and kiss trades. Now, let me ask you a quick question on this chart, on this trend right here, the Lightning 1. If I was looking at this right here, and this popped up like this, okay, where's my kiss trade? Didn't it break up above this swing right here? Pops up, comes back and kisses it? See what I mean? Where's a kiss trade again? Well, it's right there on top of that swing. See how it kissed it? Takes it out a little bit, but didn't take out your lightning swing, and off she went again. Okay? Those are kiss trades, and I'm going to show those tonight because that's, again, one of my favorite trades. I love the predictors because they're going to give you those nice retraces that you're really looking for. Let's see, another question coming in. I thought I knew identified swings. On Lightning 3, the identified swing is the next lineup because it took out the other swing. Okay, keep in mind that it depends on where I've got the chart set at the time. Okay, for instance, if we had only gone this high, just pretend none of this even exists. Let's just draw a box on it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Okay, this is not the identified swing if this doesn't exist. You see that? Because this could hit here and come on down like lower and then come up. Exactly. Now, once it takes out the high, let's say, for instance, with this box like this, then obviously when this made this thrust up right here and took out the swing, this is your identified swing. Right? Come on. Right here. Okay? And that happens regardless of which trend you're trading. It doesn't matter if you're trading line, Lightning 3, Lightning 4, Lightning 1, or Lightning 2. The main thing about Lightning 1 and 2 is they get you out of the trades early, which I like a lot. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, even on Lightning 1 and 2, they have to have these little zigzags. For instance, if this was to just shoot up like a bullet, let's just say that this went up like this on Lightning 3. Okay, well, Lightning 3 could do that. But what about Lightning 1? What if it was to do this? And just literally just bars went straight up. Doesn't happen very often, but where's your identified swing on this chart right now with this high way up here and this low way down here? Where's your lightning swing? Well, it's right there where that blue line's at. Would you put your stop that low? No. No. Anytime they shoot up like that, Lightning 1 will not even draw, because you're not getting this look of zig-zag, okay? Lightning 1 has to still have a bar up and a bar rollover, a bar up and a bar rollover, okay? If it just had bars straight up, like very seldom happens, like I said, but it does happen. 4 range bars just literally go, 12 in a row. I've seen it. You've seen 15 in a row before. And if it did 15 in a row just straight up and never even pulled back enough to build a little swing, that's what the line would look like. And you don't want to put your stop all the way under here if that happens. In a case like that, what you want to do is look at the dynamic trend, how overbought you are, look to the left to trade the right, see if they pegged a for instance, an area of resistance that was way up here, and that it's been hit and it pulled way back, then you'd want to protect your profit pretty quick after that. See what I mean? In other words, don't let them do this to you and just literally come all the way back down and take that out and then go back up, which, they could easily do. You see what I mean? Now, I'm not saying they would do it without zigzags the next time around. This would probably zigzag down. But if you got some kind of news or something, this could easily just escalate straight up like that, a good 40, 50 ticks with single bars, okay? And when it does that, you've got to kind of throw away the rule of taking it out on micro trend, okay? Because micro trend's all the way down here, Okay? Everybody sees that too, right? Because that's really important. Because, you know, if bars just go straight up, there's no zigzag, there's no lightning. Okay? And you definitely don't want to let that come all the way back down. Remember when that did that the other day on, I think it was on crude? And what did I say when it did it in the room live before we even got out? I said I'm going to use line 6 with a close as my stop because our lightning swing was way down there. I don't think it was this far. This is a little over exaggeration. It may have been something like that even. But still, would you put your stop under here? You know, that's, let's say this was a $10 a tick instead of a YM. Well, we don't even have, I don't even have any prices over here, so I can't tell you how far that is. Looks like about 35 ticks to me. Okay, because this particular chart I drew without prices on it. I took all the indicators off, so it literally does away with the axis over here. Okay, before I go any further, anybody not understand this? So the KISS trade doesn't have to be higher lows. It can come back to a lower. Absolutely. A KISS trade, you know, for instance, if you're going to be heading up, let's just take this off because we know that this was right here, right? This is like I drew in like real time, for instance. A KISS trade on this particular chart, okay, what you have to keep in mind, if this was to pull back, let's just pretend that the prices did pull back like so, and you could draw a line across that, that's a KISS trade. Now, where would your stop be if you took that KISS trade? Right under there. Okay? Because if not, what if it, you know, you got aggressive and you took the trade and it still went like this, and still made a higher low, but then took off. See what I mean? That would still be a high, a low, a higher low, and a higher high. Okay? Let's see now if it checked the next lower swing. Now if it actually checks the next lower swing, let's do that comparison right there too. Let me remove these for a second. Okay, let's say that this came down and it didn't kiss here, but it did more like trying to kiss, say, right here, which it easily could, as long as it gets a higher low than your kiss. You know, for instance, you could kiss here, you could kiss here, or you could kiss all the way down into this area down in, bear with me a second, all the way down into there and still get a higher low. Okay, the only thing you have to look at when you're trading is where's my identified swing? Okay, because if that swing is higher than that one, then more than likely you're going to head back up. And it works the same on this trend, and on that trend. This is just a larger term trend. And I'm going to show that on some charts today. The reason that I called that YM, where we got that long and got a pretty decent little trade out of it. Okay. Now, keep in mind that if this was to kiss, let's say, for instance, that this just kind of went straight down, maybe zigzagged a little bit, but let's say that it broke this. Say it broke this. Well, you know, then if it pops back above it, that you could probably take that long. Everybody sees that, right? Because once it kisses where you think it should bounce, if it did this and went back above the line, then you'd probably have a target of up here. Okay? If it went lower, get rid of this. If it went lower and then even went back up through the line, more than likely you'd get that run and you'd probably be having a higher low and you'd get a higher high than this. You see what I mean? Because you're stair stepping still. So in other words, when we see a trade like this, and this is probably coming down into a predictor or something, we're going to go into that in just a little bit, But if this was to do this, of course, obviously that's a higher low again, right? And that's important to look for because this is a very well defined lightning one uptrend. Every single one of these swings is higher lows. Because see, when this came down and then like this, you had a lower high and then a lower low, but did it really break? And the answer is no, because it didn't take out the previous swing. See, this is the swing right here that you're looking to the left to trade the right. See that right there? And that's what they're going to do. They're going to get a high, and then they'll do like an ABC. They'll check it. If they get a higher low, boom, off they go again. And that's going to happen to you in real time. Now your Lightning 2 is a little bit larger because it's looking at least 2 bars and then rollovers. Okay, so let's go to the real chart just one second. Okay, here's a really good example right here. Right now, on this chart, where's our identified swing? Is it there? The answer is what? No. It's actually right down here. Now, does this mean that if I was wanting to try to trade this, that I could box this in and see if I could get down into this area? You know, for instance, let's just box it and see if in real time, because this is a real chart now. Let's see if we could do that. Let's say that you boxed it in like this and you thought, hey, I can get down to here or maybe here. Would that be a decent trade? Well, it would be counter trend. And you got to be careful that they don't just wick you in. But yes, that could be a decent trade. Okay? But let's go ahead and play it forward and see. And I want everybody to tell me where the identified swing is. We're not even going to look at the bars yet. This is going to be real time, and it's only going to draw Lightning 1 and Lightning 3. Okay? So let's just play it. I'll play it about 6 or 8 times speed. Hopefully it'll move quick enough. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, right this very second, where's your identified swing? Anybody? There? And actually even here. Everybody see that? But when they're that close, I usually err on the side of caution and I use this one. Because that barely took out that swing right there. We don't know that this, you see what I mean? This could even be a wick. We're not looking at real prices. I'm just looking at the swings. Let's play it forward. This can go a long ways to really teach. Yeah, now, okay, now let's pause it. Where's our identified swing on this chart right now? Anybody? 18,120, let's find out. Actually, I need to put my little indicator on. Bear with me a second. I'm going to put on my, what is it, toolbar. Not toolbar, horizontal line, that's it. Let's see here, horizontal lines, here we go. I'll go ahead and put that on. And let me get rid of predictor. And let me draw again because we lost everything, because when you start a chart over, it does that. Let's go back here. Okay, and let's draw our Lightning 1. Okay, now, everybody said the swing is at where? Let's change the line to a little different color too. Blue is a little bit hard for y'all to see, I'm sure. We'll change it to Old Lace. Okay, 18,122, right? That is your identified swing. Now, usually if I've got one that's a couple of ticks down from that, you know, like this one here is actually 18,115. Let's just get rid of that line and I'll redraw it. 18,115. Now, I would have to make a choice in real time. Do I want to trust this one or do I want to trust this one? Okay. Now let's see if we can get out of this trade, and you're not going to see any prices because I purposed today that I'm going to teach everybody to see these swings and do away with some of the stuff on your chart that you'll be able to see it in real time. Okay, let's go ahead and play forward. Hopefully it doesn't get to just jumping. Well, yes, I watched the bar formation and everything, Mary, but what I'm trying to show here was to try to get away from some of that and really look at this to see where these swings really are. Okay, for instance, drawing on my chart, I see there's a little swing area right there at 27, you know, for instance, for like a kiss trade, or very possibly if it breaks 22, we could actually start heading down, right? Let's see what it does. We'll watch it in real time. It's going about 15 times speed, but it's just slow. There we go. Anybody? Anybody? What do you think? Well, that's a kiss, but now that's after a huge thrust. So what, see how it just bounced off the kiss though? We drew that in real time and it still does it, but keep in mind that this kiss type trade right here is a very dangerous one because it's already done a huge thrust. But I'm going to show you that the rule of thumb, if they break micro trend, they're going to go down and check medium trend. Now watch and see if it doesn't do it in real time. I don't know for sure because I didn't trade this time of morning on YM. We kind of did it in the room, but you know, I've just seen this a million times. So, okay, there you broke. Obviously you're out of the trade, right? Because it broke our lightning swing, right? 22. Now, we gave up 19 ticks. You see what I'm getting at? Okay. Now, what do you think, though, that more than likely your medium swing was? Let's look at that and see. You had a huge thrust up, a retrace, and a thrust up. Isn't that pretty much your medium swing? And see how they just wicked it? That's another trade, by the way. And I can show it to you on the actual chart. You want to see it in real time? I'll bet you it's got a predictor right down there. Now, notice why, though, if you were doing this in real time, you could actually get out of this trade, you know, the very moment that it took out that 22, right? Because that's your identified swing. If you took it out any sooner than that, what if it came to 24 and it just shot up like a bird and went to, who knows, way up here? As long as it's stair-stepping, you're looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, now it did start stair-stepping down. You got a high, a low, a lower high, and you didn't know this was your swing until it took this out. Okay, which right there, I don't ever take my trades off the table on that one right there because, see, this isn't even taking this swing out right here. I would trust this, and I would give up those 19 ticks because I could think that I might make 100. You see what I mean? Because my lightning swing is right there. Okay, now it came down. What did it do? It checked where it broke up. See it right there? Now let's look at the actual chart of it just real quick. Here it is right here. Everybody see this? See, here was your 22 right here, right? Right across this area. That's where we drew our little lightning swing. See there? And it took it out right there. Now what did it do though? Remember we said when it breaks micro, it usually goes down and checks like a secondary or a medium swing. And what did it do? It bounced right off of it. Let's see, you took a short on that retrace after it kissed the prior swing. You can actually do that too, Mary. I'm going to show that, I think, in another webinar. You know, for instance, you could even do this trade here. You know, when you see it doing that, you know, you'd have to, if you took this trade like on that bar right there, you put your stop above here. And then as soon as it broke down and tested and then broke again, you put your stop here. And just like we do lightning, you know, let's say, for instance, you were short on this. Lightning, boom. That's that big one I was telling you about, though. Would you put your stop way up here on your short? No. See, because that's a thrust retrace, a little thrust retrace. So it might even be there, see, because it broke again. But would you even put it there at 36 when it went all the way down to 11? That's one of those times when you don't get into lightning on that. You want to draw it, and I'll show you. Let's draw it. Lightning 1, here we go. See there? So you don't want to put your swing right there for your out. This is one of those times where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But what did they actually do? They checked a thrust, right? Big thrust, retrace, big thrust. And they'll usually do it just like this in the room all the time. You're going to see this. That's why we got that trade on NQ this morning, because this was actually more of a larger swing. And we'll get it showing up here in a little bit. Now, what if this was doing exactly what this is doing right now? Would you be willing to take this trade? You know, for instance, if you took this trade right now, I'm going to slow this down for a second because we're going to take it. Okay. That'd be equivalent to 2 on oil. Now, if I was to take this trade, I would have really wanted it down through here or right when it bounced off of support. You see what I mean? Or remember how we even do? We look for the bar that kind of forms back up and takes off. Okay? But always look to the left to trade the right. And you see if they break the top of support, then look to see if they're going to come down and check the actual support level. And that's exactly what they did there on that particular one. And if you looked at a larger chart, that's probably a wick. Okay, but what about this trade right now? Could we try to get into it? If you do, where would your stop be? You know, for instance, if I just said, you know what, this looks like a heck of a trade, I'm just going to take it. Okay, well then the way this particular chart is going right here, I've closed above the swing, so that's my micro swing, right? See it right there? And I'd probably lag it back just a little bit, just in case, and I'd put my stop like right there. Because see, that's a little swing that if it does break this micro right here, it's going to bounce off of this swing, or it's going to take me out anyway. Okay, so let's see if that works. I think we called that trade in the room this morning, by the way, when it came down here, not all the way up here. Your trade's all the way down here. Everybody knows that, right? But what if you walked in from getting coffee and it was doing this right here? Well, I've got at least 7 or 8 ticks to this top. So could I take a shot at it? It's not a huge thrust. It's just this little thrust. So I went ahead and took it, and I've got my stop at 11 ticks. So that would cost me $20 times 11, $220. Okay, you want to see if it works? We'll find out. Now my bet is it's going to come right down and test right on top of that swing right there, or wick it. And I'm going to put an exit on close. See if it gets me. Circle is lower too, not good. Well, keep in mind though that that's just looking at that price action and those swings to the left, looking left to trade the right. Okay, now this is one thing I don't recommend doing though, is just hitting market, because if you get any kind of a pullback, see how that's pulling right back into that area right there? That's where I would want it, because that's your lightning swing. So well, let's just, for the fun of it, I'll just do 2 more. Okay, and my stop's still down here where it is. Let's just see if it works. And I always like to get one of my targets out of the way, and then look to the left to trade the right, and you can see a swing right across here and here. See if we can get it. Now you can put your stop actually right under there with an exit on close. Everybody see that? And then I'm going to show you, let's say that we get a thrust. Yeah, you'd want to get in right at that line. What I did when I just fired that order, that's not the smartest way to do that. The only reason that I did that is because I thought, you know what, I know where I'm going to put my stop anyway, so I'm not afraid of the trade. We need a little predictor. You can move everything totally out of the way, by the way, and just go by your stops. See if it goes up a little bit more or takes us out. Let's see, on the bar close feature, are the offsets for that set to ticks or number of bars? That's you're talking about the exit on close here? Or which do you mean? On the bar close feature, are the offsets for that set to ticks or number of bars? It would definitely be the ticks, not the number of bars. See if we're getting any kind of little trade here. Wow, look at that. You think lightning doesn't work? I venture to say it works quite well. See how we put that just underneath the swing? Now, by the way, that's 6 contracts. I would have probably taken, you know, a couple off. Like, for instance, when this hits this predictor right up here, if it does, I'll probably take some off. You know, for instance, if you had 5 left, you might want to just sell 2 right when it hits the predictor. Okay? Because we don't know how much higher it's going to go yet. Okay? Now, where's our stop again? Well, you've got 2 to look at right this very second as it's doing it live. You got to stop all the way down here, and you got 1 forming right here. That looks pretty good to me on lightning. Let's wait till it closes. Not yet. Could come down as low as right there. That's your lightning swing. Want to see if it holds? It's got to give me identified lightning before I'll move that stop. Now, I'll probably move it higher than this, because what is the rule of thumb when you're trading? Higher lows and higher highs, right? Okay, so if this didn't form yet for me to get my lightning set, and it looks like it is now, see, you're under here now because it's closing above these swings. So I would probably put mine right here, not here yet. Everybody see that? See, that's not formed as well as this one is. Let's see if it goes higher with lightning. Let's find out. Now let me ask a quick question of everybody, of the whole team. Does this make total sense that you can stay in a trade and do a really good job and look for the great retracements and take some great trades? And we actually called a lot of these this morning. I wasn't trading a YM as much. I traded that one time that, you know, I called it out and everything, but I mainly traded TF and oil. But it's traded exactly the same way. We're looking at those little micro lightnings. As long as micro lightning holds, I'm a happy camper. If they make micro lightning shoot up so far all of a sudden, you got to be real careful until it takes out a top. I'll usually use line 6 if it's an uptrend type, or maybe even line 5. And keep in mind, line 5 is 6, 6, and another 6. That's 18 ticks down from Phantom. And with the close of a bar would be probably closer to 20. okay? So, you know, it just depends how much of your gusto you want to get. You also have to look at what is the overall trend doing. And of course, if you draw your lightning 3, you'll see that. I'll draw it. All you have is right here so far. See it? But it's identified, right? That's your identified lightning 3 swing. See your high, your low, your higher high. It has not even given you the lightning swing yet. Although we know if we drew it manually, it would be all the way up here right now, right? Okay? But we don't draw it manually. We let lightning draw it for us. That's my medium trend. So I know that until it takes that out, it is not heading down. At this moment anyway. Okay? Let's go ahead and get these out of the way and see if we can make some money. By the way, when that says like 6 and you've actually got 3 on, if you just click exit on close twice, it recounts the number. It's right with your broker anyway. It's just for some reason when the programmer designed this, it'll show more on the stop, but when you look at your control panel, it's correct. I've been meaning to get that squared away, but it's not a problem. It's just that it shows the wrong price or the wrong amount of contracts. Let's see, it came to 18,108, so it bounced there and was a good long trade at 18,112. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could have said, for instance, right down here, let's say that you saw this in real time, all right? And well, for one thing, you know, that's a phantom trade to begin with. But let's just say that you were watching these swings and you saw like a bar kind of go down. Could you box that? Sure. Absolutely. Look at that. Now, where would your stop be? Anybody? That's identified. That is your identified swing. Everybody see that? Let's see if we can stay with our identified swing. Got a low here, high here, higher high, so that's your identified swing right now. Right this very moment, that's your identified swing. Now, if I want to ride this for the gusto, I need to hold that identified swing, don't I? I'll speed it up so we can see. That's my identified swing. And that wicked that one. Still wicking. I'm going to say this is my identified swing. See it? It wicked it, and then it even closed above it, and it wicked it higher. So that's my identified swing right there at 72. And it, woo, that was close. Little bounce. Looks like it's going to get us. It's got that yellow line. It just got us. What do y'all think? You want to take it again? Right off a predictor. I wanted that a little earlier than that. I've got it going at 15 times, so it was a little quicker than I wanted. See if we can get it, though. See if we can get us a little trade. Now, keep in mind that when this is doing shallower retracements like this, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for it to go as high as right across here and possibly as high as right across here, like so. Okay? And if you just do like a couple of contracts or something, you can actually just go to the swings because this is like a high, low, lower high, lower low. There you go. Just got your trade. Okay, now let me slow that down because this is like news right here. Does everybody see a decent trade again right in here? Did we just miss another one? Did we just miss another one? What do you think? Well, we did because that's a predictor. All right, let's look at it in real time and see if we can still get into it. All right, I'm going to look at right here to get in. Oh, and right here again. How about now? wait for the bar. Look at that. It's right on top of that swing. That's a kiss trade. Now, will it go lower on me? It could. But isn't that, well, that's a kiss trade. It's already been up here, so well, let's just go here first, and we'll go right up here just to see if it'll go ahead and take that out. And then our other target will just move out of the way. Now, again, I want to ask everybody where my stop needs to be right this very moment. Well, it has to still be under here, doesn't it? Because that's my lightning swing. That's my bounce point. Let's see if we get a lightning swing. Of course, my stop would be right there, exit on close. Just testing the swing right across here. That may be our new lightning swing. See, it's looking to the left to trade the right. A little deeper. It's okay. See if it's going to test that one more time. Just might do it. Now, if we're going to head up, we need a higher low. Now, it's already checked here, and we didn't get our target. I'm going to go on up here and then get this one out of the way too, simply because when it checks it twice, it usually takes it out. I mean, you see that time and time again, right? And actually, your next swing would be right there, because it's already checked that one, which was right over here to the left. See it? Right across there. You can see it if you just draw your line. And then the next one's right there, drawing your line. Does that lower circle make you nervous? No. No. The reason that doesn't make you nervous is because, you know, what's your overall trend? You've got a thrust, a retrace, and a huge thrust. This is what we call our medium swing. These are still much higher lows. Now, could it come as low as my predictor? Yes. And if it does, I'll just get back in if it comes down close to here like Phantom. We'll see if it does. So far, we haven't gotten anything on this trade, except we could have already taken some profit, but my target was a little too high and it didn't tag it. See if we can get lightning. I'll speed it up a little bit so we can see if we can get, we're going to either get taken out or we're going to get lightning. It looks like we're going to get lightning. Everybody see the lightning swing? Oh, nice trade. You can even do away with the target if you want to. Like that. Where's our lightning swing? Well, it's right there. 2 contracts still left. Lightning swing's going to be right here, very possibly. Not yet. There it is. See it right there? Lightning swing identified. High, low, higher, high. Lightning swing. Where's your lightning swing now? It's right here. Now this is just showing you how to trade lightning only. Okay? Now, you want to do like a conservative trade also? I like just buying right off of predictors a lot of times, but you got to be careful doing that. Okay? If you get a little 1, 2, 3, it's much better. But let's just see. If we get taken out, that is, we don't know, but it looks like that's a pretty good thrust. Anytime you get, you know, 30, 40 ticks on a thrust, you're usually pretty good on a thrust without some kind of retrace that's going to get us. Didn't get us then. That's our lightning swing. We're out. Okay? Now let's look at a conservative way to trade this, because several people are asking, well, what if you don't trust just getting in like that? Well, let's look and see, where have they not checked just yet? All right, they haven't even checked here. See, they thrust up, haven't checked there. They haven't checked down here, right? And so you have a high, a low, higher high, higher low. So let's see. Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and so on, right? We know when we break micro, they're going to check medium. Okay, when they check micro, they usually check these medium swings, like down around mid-band. And let's see if we can get in a trade based on just strictly the box-in method. Because I don't trust this right now, and the reason I don't is because that's a huge thrust up, and they haven't really tested. See, they're checking that secondary swing right now. Now, if you were going to get that, what I would do is I would have grabbed it right at the line itself and tried to get like 5 ticks. That is what we call a predictor type trade. If it had touched that line, I'd buy it, but if it's above it, I'm not touching it. It was a perfect kiss trade. And that would have gotten you 5 ticks too. It may go on up. We're going to find out in just a minute. If it does, it does. The only way I'd do this trade right now would be to box it in. If it takes out that line right there, we'll buy it long. Okay, now you have a high, a low, a lower high, lower low, lower high. Not a lower low just yet. It's still wicking. See it right there? If it closes, that'll be a lower high. We'll look at mid-band also. We're going to see if we can box this in. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Barely. There it closed for sure. So that's your lower high right there. A 3-bar box. Well, what you can also do, Kenneth, on your question, see, here's resistance right here. Now, to me, if I was going to take this trade right here, I would want it to break this resistance with a good close of the bar. So in other words, I'd be waiting with my buy button, because that's resistance right there. See how you have, you know, it's basically giving you the support area, and then it breaks it, and now it's resistance. So if this was to break this little area here, I would probably get it. But now see, it's actually holding that resistance. Let's see how low it'll go. Now, where would it change trends? Anyone? Did everybody see that? Exactly. Now, does that mean you can't, you know, for instance, if this breaks right here, could we short this for, say, 10 ticks? You want to try it? It's right at the support. I probably should have waited one more closed bar, but we got it. And that's what we talk about boxing in. But keep in mind that until this takes this out, this is still an uptrend. So all I'm trying to do is scalp this, and I would put my stop like right there pretty tight, just in case this decides to go up there and take it out. Now, what do we expect? If this is going to go up, I'm going to show you what to look for. Let's see if we can get our trade first. It looks like it's going to work. We got 5 ticks. Okay, we have a low here. That's our medium trend, right? See if that'll. Okay, that's our low on our medium trend. That's our lightning 3. Okay, that has to hold if we're going to head back up. Now, sometimes what you want to do is you do want to go ahead and short these, okay, because you are definitely breaking down below mid-band, and that's that little box Charles teaches, and I like it quite well myself. But when I do it and I'm still in an uptrend, I am very cautious with that short, okay, because this to me is still a long trend. Okay, now this is like a 1, 2, 3, but see, your resistance is right up here. So right now, I wouldn't really be looking for this trade unless you take it right off a Phantom. Watch and see if it'll hit its head there. If it hits resistance like there and then rolls over, then we're going to still get a box. But remember, we cannot take this out. So if we get a higher low, we're going to head back up. There's resistance right here, right? Could you box it like that? So far, yes. If it takes this out just a little bit, our box is going to be even right here. See it? But not yet. It's not doing a lightning yet, so it's still resistance is right here. Let me change that color. That's good enough. See what we get. High, low, higher, high, higher, low. Yeah, it's still just heading down. So you got a nice short on it, right? But like I said, until it takes this out right here, you're not really heading down yet. And resistance is right here at this very moment anyway. I need to remember my setting. Let me change it again. So resistance is right there. You could draw a trend line. Gives you all kinds of times to prepare for this. Haven't had a Phantom just yet. Where's your resistance going to be now? If it closes below here, it's going to be right here where this blue line's at. And I always like to draw and look in my mind. And that is a Phantom trade, so I would actually be taking that. A couple, okay? Because that's a Phantom trade and I like it. And my stop's going to be under right there. Because if it takes that out, we're not heading up any longer. Now, if you wanted to add, where's lightning? It's right there. Right there. Could you add if it takes that out? Whoops, didn't. We put them on the same target, so we need to move them. So let's see. We got a target right over here. Looking to the left, trade to right. I'm going to go with 2 contracts right there. And since we only went with 2 targets, unfortunately, I can't go up to here because I've got swings that I got to check. If I'd turned these both on, we would have targets going on up. But unfortunately, I forgot to turn that back on again. Okay, where would our stop be on this? Well, guess where? Right underneath that swing that is identified. Everybody see that? Micro trends will keep you in a trade and do a very good job of keeping you in the trade and get you some monster profits. And if you really learn to see all 4 trends on your chart and trade them, and know that if you take this, for instance, you know, when let's say that you start breaking down, I mean, literally you could take this trade cleared up here. Everybody realizes that, right? You know, for instance, if you were watching this in real time and you saw this happening right here and you had your stop underneath that swing because it was identified like that, could you take that? Say it broke it. Where's your stop going to be? Well, it's going to be right there. That's your identified swing at this very moment. And as it breaks further, like that, your identified swing then becomes right there. And yeah, you can take counter trend trades like that. And a lot of people do it because what's the rule of thumb? If you break micro, you're going to go down and check medium. Medium's at least down close to mid-band, so that could easily be a 10-tick trade. And let's say, for instance, if you were watching this in real time and you took it up here, for instance, when it took out your lightning swing, okay, and you got in it, you had your stop, right, and it kept rolling over, well, you just keep bringing your stop down. And as it did this, where would your stop be? like that. And could you actually have even reversed it when it took that out? Yes. See, and then you'd be in a nice trade. Everybody see that? We just got flattened. Unfortunately, I was getting ready to move it to here. So if it comes near 163 and a bar up, can you take a long? If it comes near 163, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, Pervez, I'm almost positive in the room this morning this was called even, because Charles was short on this, and then I mentioned that we had the medium swing like this, and it was the same thing on NQ. You want to see it real quick because we're getting ready to wrap. Let me just show you on NQ. And then I want to ask you, looking at the chart, if you see the same thing after tonight's webinar. Because our whole goal at Viper is, not just our own trading and everything, it's also to see people, make some very, very decent coin, right? If you make coin, then we're doing what we set out to do, and that is to teach people how to trade our software and how to make money every single day. Okay? Everybody want to see that, what I was talking about earlier on YM? It's not even at it yet because we were still in the room. This is like 9:20. I'll put it in real fast time. And you tell me on this chart right now, where's your medium swing? Anybody? Right there. Everybody see it? Hasn't taken that swing out yet except with just a little wick, right? That's our medium swing. This is also our 12 range. See your 12 range swing? See that little white number right there? That's a 12 range swing. That's a pretty important swing. Now watch what happened, and I called this in real time. Did we get the short? Absolutely, we got the short too. Remember? Remember that one? We got that. We got that when it rolled over. And right here, I mentioned to everybody that we were going to head back up. Anybody remember that? And did we? And why did I see that in real time? Because my swing held. Fourth trend. It held. So does that mean that we didn't get the short, phantom long, and remember the rollover was even called exactly at this line? We had this line drawn in real time in the room without all this pricing being there at all. It was just like this at the time. We broke. I called the phantom. I said, take your coin, and if it rolled, short it. Remember? But then I also said, watch this swing right here. If it takes it out with a vengeance, everything's fine. What did it do? It bounced right off of it. Isn't 76 the swing, John? On which one now? Well, yes, but keep in mind that on what we call the longer term, okay, what I call the secondary longer term, where they just barely take out these highs, even this 83 to 85 is not a lot of takeout on the bigger scheme of things. So I look at this as a very good bounce area, a secondary swing. Now, yes, this is your identified swing here, right? And you could easily have taken the long there, and you could have taken the short rollover. You had a nice little pop here. But let's say, for instance, you were trading this and you thought, okay, I'm going to take the predictor, and you short it. Okay, let's say that you just short it. Well, where's the lightning swing on this when it takes it out? Watch and see. When does this actually make this swing identified? When it takes that out right there with the close of a bar, and there you are. So is that any longer heading down? No. See? Because your lightning actually, matter of fact, did a wonderful job after that. Now, one thing keep in mind too, if you change backgrounds like this and you start getting these sideways, see this rose color, you can trust this predictor as a green one. This one it didn't quite come down to, but it did come down to mid-band, and you could have even grabbed that one. But this one it did come down to, see it right on the predictor, and off it went. Okay. Now, if you were to trade this one conservatively, where would you have gotten in? Let's say you're looking over here and you're seeing your resistance up here and here. Where would you get in this trade? Something like this, if it bounces off. Where's resistance on this chart? Well, resistance is actually right there. See it? And it took it out right across there. And they always, when they take out, that's why I don't like breakout trades particularly, because when you break out, they always come back, and if they respect your swing that your stop would be at, you probably get a good trade. Okay, but that's personally why I don't like breakout trades right there. You get up 5 or 6 ticks and in your face 5 or 6 ticks and then off they go. Okay? Now, I didn't get as much chance to talk about the predictor tonight as I wanted to, but I wanted to really go over those swings. So just a quick ask of the team, what do you think? Can you see them in real time from now on? I took, Lightning 4 is not on this particular chart, but obviously Lightning 4 is those huge 60-tick moves. Okay? Lightning 3 is your most important one. All right, Mary says, fantastic, best ever. Well, you're welcome. I just wanted everybody to see that, because in every trend, there are micro trends and there are secondary micro trends. And then there's a huge trend. Okay? And then, by the way, those are the 4 trends we trade. What's after that? Well, you've got hourly trends and daily trends and, monthly trends and yearly trends. There are traders that trade with this same type of thought on their trading with larger trends. I talk to traders all the time that'll let let something come back 50 ticks and still stay in it because it's with their particular trend that they're trading. Now, I don't recommend that because we're kind of scalpers. We're in and out a little bit more. How do you get lightning to show up, Jay, on your question? Let me show you real quick and then we'll wrap. All you do, let's say that you wanted to draw lightning from right here on what you call lightning 3. Control key, hold it in, left click your mouse, and that's it. All right, what if you wanted to draw lightning 1? Let's say that you were seeing something like this and you wanted to draw lightning 1. Did I get it? Nope, didn't get it. There we go. All right, so in a case like this, even, where are your swings at? If for instance, you're not long on this, by the way, you'd be short from here, right? So where would your swing be? Let's say that you had just now shorted this at, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, right now, this is not your identified swing. This one more than likely will be as soon as they take this out. Okay? This is what they would have to do to identify that swing. They'd have to come down below this swing right here. Thrust, retrace. See, it did a thrust retrace, but it never took out the low. So that swing right there where my cursor's at is not identified. This one is not identified yet because it hadn't taken out the low. Once it does, this will be the identified swing. Okay? Or it's going to even bounce off the low and head up and take these out. But if you were short from up here, your stop right now, you've already gotten like a 10 ticker. You could probably go to break even, right? You'd probably break even right about that line. And then you just watch your lightning. But the way you draw those, Jay, is you just simply hold down Alt key for lightning 1, Shift key for lightning 2, Control key for lightning 3, and backspace for lightning 4. And on the lightning 3 and 4, you have to be on one of the numbered swings. You can't just draw it from anywhere. You have to draw it from where the numbers are, because those are actually your 15 swing strength and your 12 range swing strengths. Okay? All right, I hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll trade again tomorrow. And keep these type of things in mind and learn to really trade these predictors. I'm going to go over that in big detail next week on trading these predictors in real time too. But keep in mind, sometimes it won't hit a predictor, but did right over here hit a kiss trade? See it? Thrust down, that's your lightning swing, right? Right there. 48.75 and a quarter. Does it come back up and kiss it and then rolls over? See what I mean? See how it came right down to the bottom? Kiss trades. All right. And yeah, nice calls today on YM. Absolutely. And that's one thing you want to keep in mind, you know, when you're going counter trend to one of those four trends, be careful for these bounces because, you know, when you look at this overall chart on here, this is a pretty major uptrend. See, all they're doing is they're just kissing this area again. But what are they actually doing? High, low, higher high, higher low. See it? Now, this doesn't mean that this predictor isn't going to take this out and head on down. But this could easily bust right up through here and keep trucking up too, because that low is what I call my power meter 4, my lightning 4 type swing on here. Okay, and you don't even have to look at like lightning 4 and all that. Just look in your, you know, just kind of scrunch the chart up and you'll kind of see where the swings are, right? Thrust, retrace, thrust, that's your swing for your longer term. And if they don't take that out, they could easily head back up. Once they take that out, they're heading down for sure. This will be posted in about 20 minutes. All right, and keep in mind, these were called real time in the room. So this is replay right now so we can go over a nice webinar. But this is called in the room in real time. All right, good night, everyone. Sorry I ran about 12 minutes late. Bye, everyone. Thanks.